arrive on your mat, you can go ahead and simply recline back, allowing yourself to come into an early Shavasana, so an early corpse pose. We'll be taking a very grounded practice tonight, very low to the mat, allowing ourselves to kind of reset. There's a lot of energy spinning around, and I think we owe it to ourselves and also the world around us to kind of ground that energy and try and do with it what we might be able to. So as you release your body into the mat, allow yourself to tap into the physical body. And it's as easy as paying attention to the weight of the back of your head, the weight of the back of your shoulders and down your arms. Maybe even wiggle the fingers as some tension releases from hands. Become aware of the weight of the hips and the legs, all the way down through the heels. Wiggling the toes, releasing any tension that might be in the feet. And then simply, as you become present on your mat physically, allow yourself to tap into your breath. And all that requires is you to notice that you are breathing in and you are breathing out. And if your mind wanders, just guide it back. Remind yourself, I am breathing in and I am breathing out. From here, I invite you to make your inhales and exhales a bit deeper. If it helps, you might picture your body like a large basin of water filling almost to the point where water would spill over the edge. And just before that tipping point, you allow the water to release with your exhale, slowly, slowly draining to fully empty. Before you inhale, rising all the way full again. And exhale all the way empty. Imagining, if you will, that the water with every inhale, you might notice a little bit of sediment rising with your inhale, a little bit of tension, perhaps some thoughts swirling. And as you exhale, imagine that that could release out of the water. So that as every breath progresses, you get to the point where the water is clear. The mind begins to still just a bit. The tension begins to melt and release out of the body, just like any sediment could release and settle in water. And on your next inhale, I invite you to draw your right knee in towards your chest, just sending that thigh wide outside the rib cage as you pull the knee in toward the inner upper shoulder. Just feeling a little bit of tension in the hip crease there. It's toward the end of a long week. The weather is getting a bit heavier. The news is getting a bit heavier. And our hips carry a lot of emotion, as well as the weight of our bodies if we're seated throughout the day. Let's switch legs, drawing the left knee in, pulling that thigh outside of the rib cage, knee down into inner upper shoulder. Draw both knees in towards your chest, hands to your shins. Think about giant felt tip markers on the tops of your knees. You're going to draw circles on the ceiling 3 times to the right. And then 3 times to the left, hopefully releasing your low back in the process. And with hands to shins now, knees come into center. As you inhale, press the shins out into the hands. You'll feel the knees just remove themselves from the chest a bit. As you exhale, pull back in. Inhale, pressing into the hands through shins. Exhale, pulling knees back in. 2 more times here on your breath. Inhale to press out. Exhale to pull in. And last time, inhale, press out. And exhale, pull in. Keeping the knees in toward the chest, let the arms come out like the letter T. And drop your knees to the right. Taking a gentle twist now through your low back. Trying to keep both shoulders rooted to the mat if possible. And if not, maybe making goalpost arms or cactus arms, and that will allow a little bit more weight. Take a minute to notice the weight of the legs and see if you might be able to release them even deeper. Sometimes the inner thighs like to hold on here. We can just relax and let those knees sink. As you inhale, let the knees draw up through center. And as you exhale, drop the knees over to your left side. Again, trying to keep the right shoulder now on the earth, and if not, goalpost arms. Eyes can be open or closed. I find that eyes closed allows you to go inward a bit and just be present in your own body. Slowly let your knees draw through center. Again, taking your hands to your knees or shins. We're going to rock up and down the mat a few times. So a little bit of rolling up and down, massaging out the spine. You may not get too far up, that's fine. Just a little bit of rolling. And on your last one, you'll find your way to a comfortable seated position. And I'll invite you to take your left shin in front of your right shin. Take your hands to your knees. We'll turn the fingertips inward. Broaden the collarbones as the chest lifts tall. And as you exhale, fold over the legs. Feeling the left inner hip a bit deeper than the right here. Now what we tend to do is kind of lift the chin up. Imagine that you have a grapefruit and you want to hug it very gently in towards your chest. That will level the neck a bit. And come back to that slow, full inhale and slow, complete exhale. From here, walk your hands to the upper right corner of your mat. Fingertips content as if you have cupcakes underneath you and you don't want to squish the frosting. Press back through your left hip. Feel the stretch across the left side of the back. And as you breathe in, imagine the waist on the left expanding out a bit deeper. And as you exhale, imagine the left hip pressing back deeper. Next inhale, we'll slide the right hand beside the right hip and reach that left arm overhead. So we're supporting ourselves into that right palm. We're stretching out across the rib cage on the left side. Now inhale, allow the chest to peel open to the left. And exhale, wrap closed a bit. So just getting into that big muscle along the back. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Last time we inhale, open. Exhale, close. Glue that left hip to the earth. Reach a little bit deeper to the right with left fingertips. And then slowly rise up. Both palms touch. Take the thumbs to the nape of the neck. Lift up, open up across the chest. So feeling that across the backs of the arms now. And interlace your hands now behind your head as you guide the chin down to the chest and feel a stretch across the back of your neck. Breathing into that stretch, the inhale allows you to notice it. The exhale allows you to soften spaces that are holding tension. And relax your hands to your knees. Lift the gaze. Switch the cross of your legs. So now your right shin comes in front of your left. You may need to rock the sits bones back. Fingertips will face inward. Lift up, breathe in. Fold forward, breathe out. So now feeling a little bit more activity in your left hip, or excuse me, your right hip than you do in left. And breathing across that open chest, keeping the hips pressing backward. If the hips want to lift up off the floor and you feel like you're going to rock forward, you can tent your fingertips to keep you supported. Slowly walk your hands over to the upper left corner of your mat, pushing down and back through right hip. Feeling that stretch over the side of the waist on the right. And then release your left hand to the earth beside the left hip. Reach the right arm up, deep breath in. And every breath out, push a little bit deeper into the right hip, feeling that stretch come over the rib cage. Breathe in, open the chest. Breathe out, close and reach. Good. Breathing in, open. Breathing out, close and reach. Last time we breathe in, open. And as you breathe out, pressing back through the hip, reaching forward through the fingers, feeling that stretch over the back body. Slowly rise all the way through center, palms touch. This time fingers interlace overhead. Palms press upward, fingers press back. So pinky finger side of the hand presses back. And a lot of times when we do this, the shoulders lift to the ears. Bend the elbows a bit. The shoulders will relax down. From here, release your right hand. Take your left hand to the right side of the head and bring that left ear to the shoulder. Now with your right fingertips to the earth or maybe your knee, add a little bit of extra pressure and you'll feel the stretch elongate from the base of your earlobe down to the tip of the shoulder girdle on the right side. Take your chin and tuck it toward your left collarbone just a bit and feel how that brings the stretch to the back side of the neck. Release the chin to the chest, both hands come to the earth. Peel the collarbones open as you send center chest toward that lowered chin. And then inhale, raise the arms up. And exhale, right hand behind, left hand across the knee. Ring out and twist. Every breath in, think about spine lengthening upward. Every breath out, think about wrapping and ringing deeper. As you inhale, come through center with the arms, rise up. And as you exhale, left hand down, right hand to left side of head, giving a little bit of pressure into that left hand to extend the stretch. Drop your chin toward your right collarbone. Feel the stretch come across the back side of the neck. And release both hands to the earth as the chin drops to center chest. This time let the hands interlace behind you. Knuckles draw down and back. Pinky side of hand lifts up slightly. Feeling that stretch come across the front of your chest and the shoulders. Slowly release both arms, rise. Left hand comes behind, right hand comes across, and we ring out and twist. Thinking about long spine from tailbone to crown, and then deep ringing out twist. And slowly we come back through center, arms rise. And as you exhale, your hands are going to tent in front of you. Now, your choice, you can kind of uncurl the legs and flip them behind you, or you can roll right up over those knees. It really depends on what your legs and hips feel like tonight. We're going to come right into our tabletop pose and immediately step back through the right toes. So I'll come sideways. It will give you a little bit better angle here. Right toes step back, lift up to hip height. Extend out through left fingertips. Hold here in spinal balance. So in your spinal balance, what tends to happen is the chest kind of drops down. Push into that hand and really engage that right arm. Now on your next exhale, pull the elbow and the knee under the body. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Last time, elbow to knee. Try and make connection here, elbow to knee. And release out spinal balance for a full breath. Knowing that at any time, if balance is not your thing, left hand can stay to the earth and just work with the knee. Taking hand down, knee down. Find a cat-cow as the belly draws down and the chest lengthens, we breathe in. Round the spine as you breathe out. Coming back to your neutral spine, now left foot will step back, lifting and raising to hip height. And again, you can stay right here or perhaps right fingertips reach out. Breathing and reaching, really engage through the arm, pull the navel up toward the spine. And on an exhale, elbow touches knee under the body. Even if that hand is to the earth, the elbow pulls in toward that knee. We have two more. Pulling in. Last time, extend and pull in, hold. Make that connection if you can. Release out, spinal balance, full breath cycle here. And drop the hand down, drop the knee down. Let the knees and the shins come as wide as your mat. Push your hips back to your heels. And feel the hips open just a bit in this wide child's pose or modified frog pose. Slowly rise, hands and knees, hands under shoulders, knees walk under your hips once again. This time, right foot is going to come out, come back. You're going to pull the knee outside of your shoulder so it comes wide, and then cross it back behind you to the left. Knee to shoulder, cross behind. Last time, knee comes to shoulder. Now as you cross behind, you're going to land the toes to the left side of the room. Perhaps you drop to forearms. If that's not comfortable, stay on hands. You're going to feel the outside of your left hip awaken a bit, so it's just a little bit active. And if you would like a deeper stretch, the right hand can reach to the left. So you make this little C curve from tips of fingers to tips of toes. Always connecting to the earth through the contact points. Always connecting to the breath. Slowly, both hands will come back under shoulders. Slide that right knee back. Extend left leg behind. Pull knee to shoulder and cross back behind you to the right. Knee to shoulder, cross back behind. Last time, knee comes to shoulder. We cross behind to the right, let the toes land. Perhaps the forearms drop. And you stay wherever you feel comfortable, this time waking up through outer right hip. And if you feel comfortable, left fingertips can walk over to the right a bit, feeling that deep in your stretch. Slowly, hands come under shoulders, knees come under hips. We're going to take a flowing, it's almost like a low to the earth sun salutation. So we're going to draw the belly down as the chest lengthens forward. We're going to round the spine up and push the hips back to the heels. Now, as you lengthen up, let the belly draw down Bend your elbows. So you come into this little crocodile pose. You drop the chest and then you rise up through the chest, cobra pose. Push back, round your spine, hips to heels. So we're going to do this a few times. It's a little awkward at first. I'll come sideways. Belly draws down, chest lengthens. Round your spine, push your hips back. Lengthen forward, nice arch in the spine, crocodile pose as you lower the chest and rise up through cobra pose, opening the chest. Round your spine back to child's pose. 2 more times, lift up, lower to crocodile, rise to cobra, round through cat to child's. Last time through, lift and lengthen, lower to crocodile, rise to cobra, round and release. Allow your child's pose to be a place of rest for 2 breaths. Forehead possibly to earth or maybe stacked palms. And we rise up, finding hands and knees. We're going to take the right foot back once again. This time as you lift up to hip height, you're going to bend the knee, push the the sole of the foot up so you feel the glute activate, and then draw that knee so wide that your foot comes outside of your pinky finger. Walking your hands forward, let the hips drop forward and down. Really feeling a deep opening across the left side front hip, and the right side inner hip gets a tourniquet effect. Now again, we don't want to collapse into the shoulders, so push the hands into the floor and peel the chest through the shoulders like you're opening the pages of a book. One more breath here. Slowly step that right knee back underneath your hip. Find a cat-cow, belly draws down, chest lengthens. Rounding out the spine. Coming to neutral, step back left toes, rising to hip height. Bend your knee, press up through your heel, activate that glute, and then slide that knee up toward the shoulder as you step wide, walking the hands to the inside arch of that foot as you draw hips forward and down, and you start to peel the chest open. Don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to give some pressure to the hands as you open across the chest. And slowly draw right knee underneath the hip once again. From here, round your spine up, push your hips back slightly and feel the low back lengthen. Come back to your neutral spine. Right leg releases behind, lift to hip height. Again, take it outside of the pinky finger. And this time just plant into your left hand. Take your right hand to your right knee. Curl your left toes under. As you push through the heel, the left knee will come up off of the floor and send the torso in a twist to the right. Slowly release down. Both hands to the earth, right toes cornerwise. Peel to the pinky toe edge of the foot, let that knee fall open. Maybe a little bit of rocking side to side here, helping to open the hips. And release knee underneath hip once again. Left leg extends behind up to hip height. Step it forward, be outside of the pinky finger. Right hand releases to the earth, left hand to the knee. Peel up off of that right knee. You can see if I lift my shirt out of the way. And then you're just going to find a twist here. Rotating the torso to the left. Feeling the belly button pull into the spine, and imagine your ribs ringing out around the spine, almost like a spiral staircase. Come back to center, hands to the earth. Toes turn cornerwise as you peel to the pinky toe edge of that foot and give a little bit of rocking from side to side. Slowly we'll take that knee back. So now we're building on. Let's start with a cat-cow. Belly down, chest lengthens. Spine rounds up, hips push slightly back. Tap into that neutral spine, that nice stretch that you're feeling. And come back to tabletop pose. Right foot steps behind again, lift to hip height. Knee comes wide, foot comes to pinky toe, or pinky finger, excuse me. Now from here, plant into your left fingers. Right hand to the knee once again. This time toes curl, lift up. The difference here is we're going to tent our fingertips next, okay? So we're taking a little bit of pressure off of that hand. Let the belly button pull in so deeply that maybe just the fingers hover, and then we sweep up to a crescent lunge. Deep breath in crescent. Full breath out in crescent. Feeling that come much deeper into our hip flexor on the left. And we feel firmly rooted through that right foot. Take the hands through center chest, bend both knees, and step to the top of the mat. Take a breath in, let the arms rise up. And a breath out, fold forward. Take your hands to the earth and step back. Come to your tabletop pose once again. Take a minute here, close your eyes. Spread your fingers wide, connect into the earth, and notice the difference you feel between the two sides of your body. From here, extend your left leg, lift to hip height. Let the knee come wide, come out to the pinky finger. Left hand to the knee, right hand to the earth, curl the toes, lift up. Tent the fingers, little less pressure on the hand. Let the belly pull in, maybe hover the fingers, and then sweep up to this wide crescent lunge. So wide, it's a little bit more asymmetric. We're not as lined up. Arms rise, breathe in. Hips sink, breathe out. Hands to center chest, both knees bend. We step to the top of the mat. Take a breath in, rise. And a breath out, fold. This time as you fold, bend your knees a bit. Grab opposite elbow to opposite hand and let the head hang heavy. Shaking the head here, yes and no. Now if you feel any pulling on your low back, release the knees even more. You may even need to kind of come into a little bit of a chair sit just to release your low back. We're going to slowly take the hands to the floor. Send both knees back, coming into tabletop pose once again. Now we'll step back, walk the hands back so we're standing onto our knees. From here, the hands are going to come to those imaginary back pockets. You're simply going to lift the chest up and open across the chest. It's a very mild back bend here. And then with the hands to the hips, send the right foot forward. We're going to drop down into a lunge. We're not going to be here long. And then we're going to send the hips back. Lift the sole of that right foot up and start to fold over, getting into the hamstring. Now we've done a lot through hips and inner thighs. Now we're going to wake up the hamstring. Now if you have blocks or if you have something to put your hands on and you think your body will come lower, allow your chest to lengthen as you drop those hands down. Otherwise, hands to hips will give you a little bit of balance. Again, imagine that little grapefruit hugging and squeezing, keeping that neck at neutral. As you inhale, let the arms rise up, let the hips sink low. As you exhale, let the arms sweep back and straighten that front knee. Inhale, rise and sink. Exhale, sweep and straighten. Last time, inhale, rise and sink. Exhale, sweep and straighten. Hold here. Send the fingers back. Your palms are facing down. Fingers back, chest open. You're going to feel more hamstring when you open that chest, believe it or not. And then slowly let the hands come inside the leg and step back with the right leg. Walk your hands back. Interlace your hands behind the back and send the thumbs to the low back. Lift the chest up, roll the shoulders open, tiny back bend. If this hurts the low back, belly comes to spine. That neutralizes the low spine. Come back to neutral spine, hands to the hips. Left foot comes forward, hips drop down. Now we send the hips back as we straighten the left leg. And the trick here is that a lot of times when we get into hamstrings, we tend to be tight through the hamstrings. So the body wants to round. We want to think about lifting and opening the chest, and the low ribs are going to send themselves toward the knee. The chest is sending itself toward the big toe. We're not sending the chest to the knee, right? So I'd rather see you higher up with a long spine than down here. Down here you won't feel your hamstring unless the spine is nice and long. So breathe into the back of that leg. And as you inhale now, let the arms sweep up and the hips sink low. As you exhale, sweep back, straighten. Inhale, rise and drop. Exhale, sweep and straighten. Last time, inhale, rise and drop. Exhale, sweep and straighten, palms face down, fingertips reach. The more you reach back through the fingertips, the more the chest peels open. Send the hands inside the leg and send that left foot underneath your hip, or left knee, excuse me. Find a cat-cow here, belly draws down, chest lengthens. Round that spine. Let's walk your hands back, hands to the hips. Right foot will come forward. Curl your left toes under. We're going to come to stand in a crescent lunge and drop your back heel down. So now we're in a warrior one stance, right? Let's bend into the knee. In your warrior one, you'll feel your hip flexor on the left side. You'll feel a lot of strength in your quadricep on the right. From here, straighten out the knee. Let the big toe of the back foot peel inward a bit. Lift your chest up, fold forward. So you'll feel even more hamstring here. Again, sending your rib cage to your knee rather than your chest to your knee. Now, if you feel like you're walking on a tightrope, widen your stance from left to right and keep thinking about the right hip pulling back to square. As you breathe in, sweep the arms up, bend the knee, warrior one. As you breathe out, sweep back, pyramid pose. Inhale, rise and lift. Exhale, sweep and straighten. Last time we rise and lift. As you sweep and straighten, interlace your hands behind the back. Knuckles draw back, chest opens up. Feeling your hamstring here. A little pressure to the right big toe edge of the foot. You'll feel a bit more. Now bend into your front knee. Peel your back heel up. And you're going to fly into airplane pose. So this is a bound airplane pose. If binding isn't your friend, take your hands to hips. And slowly step up. Cross the left foot over the right foot. Pinky toes come to touch or toward one another. Lift the chest up and fold forward. Now you might be fine right here. If you want to come deeper, hands can come to thighs, shins, or floor. But again, we're sending rib cage to knee, not chest to knee, right? So it's Thursday. If I wanted to line up my shot glasses along my spine, I don't want them to roll off. I want them to be flat like a tray. You should feel the outer part of your right leg here. Give a bit of pressure to the big toe edges of your feet, and you'll feel that a little bit deeper in that outer right hip. Keeping your right foot, the one that's behind you, rooted to the floor, lift your left leg up. Take your hands to the floor if they weren't already there. So now you're in a standing split. Coming a little deeper into the center of the hamstring on that right leg. And then drop that left foot back and drop the knee to the earth. Coming into a low lunge here. Walk your hands to the inside of that foot. Peel the pinky toe edge and open the knee. So coming back to this familiar open lunge. So although we are taking it slower and lower tonight, we're still building heat. And draw that knee back. Take a moment again, rooted to the earth through the hands. Close the eyes and breathe as you notice the difference between the two sides. Walk your hands back. Hands to your hips as your left foot comes forward. Curl your right toes under, lift up off of that knee, crescent lunge. Drop your back heel down, you're in warrior one stance now. Good, bending into that knee. Sweep your arms up as you breathe in. As you breathe out, straighten the left leg, sweep back. Hold in pyramid pose here. Hands can come to your hips. Allow the left hip to draw back a little bit so the hips square. And you're going to feel the hamstring even more. Now from here, knee bends, arms sweep, breathe in. Knee straightens, arms sweep back, breathe out. Inhale, rise and bend. Exhale, sweep and straighten. Last time, inhale, rise and bend. Exhale, sweep and straighten, hands interlace behind you. Push into the big toe edge of the foot, and lengthen your chest forward. Let the back heel peel up, bend into the front knee, fly into this bound airplane pose, knowing that your landing gear can be to the floor if balancing is not your friend. Hands to your hips as you take the right foot in front of the left foot and slowly fold forward. Hands can stay at hips, come to thighs, shins, ankles, or floor. Whatever you do, don't press into the knee. Think about elongating the spine, rib to knee, chest open. Big toe edges of the feet get some pressure. You should feel outer left hip here. If your hands are not already to the floor, you're going to walk them to the floor, bend your knees a little bit, send that left leg up. So you're in standing split again, right leg. Now we're going to take a standing split leg lift. So the left foot drops back, bend into the knee. Sweep up, drop back, bend, sweep up. Last time, drop back, bend, sweep up. Step your left foot back where it was. And now take your right leg up into standing split. I forgot my leg lift last time, so I had to add it in. From your standing split, drop your right foot back behind you to the left, bend both knees. Kick up. Drop back and bend. Kick up. Last time, drop back and bend. Kick up. Hold the standing split for a full breath. Drop your right leg back. And let the knee come to the floor. So you're now in a low lunge. Hands come inside. We come to that familiar open lunge as the knee peels open. Perhaps some rocking from side to side. And then slowly take that knee underneath the hip once again. Let your knees and your shins come as wide as the mat. And push back to that nice wide child's pose. Take a minute here to breathe and reconnect. And slowly rise up. Let's sit onto our right hip and send the knees over to the left. From here, right foot's going to come forward. So your right shin comes parallel to what would be the short side of your mat if you are on a yoga mat, okay? And your left leg is just kind of behind you. Let your chest lift up and send the center of your chest over your shin. walking those hands down. You're going to feel inner thigh, a bit of outer hip, and maybe some low back here on the right. Breathing deeply into the sensation that you feel. And similar to what we did at the beginning, let the hands walk over to the upper left corner of the mat. I'm just going to adjust my lighting a bit. I feel like I'm in shadow. Hopefully that will help. Continuing to breathe here. That didn't help much. And then come back through center. Let's slide the right heel in toward the left inner thigh and take the left foot and cross it either over the knee or in front of the knee, whatever's comfortable in your body, okay? What we want to try and do is keep the left hip on the ground. So sometimes when that leg comes over, it's much harder to keep the hip. So wherever you're comfortable, right hand comes to left knee. Left hand comes behind the back. Chest draws up, breathe in, and you hug the knee in towards your right rib cage as you twist to the left. You start to feel the entire outer leg down to the hip and a little bit of low back. And slowly come back through center. You'll switch the legs now, sending left shin in front, right leg behind. Lift your chest, breathe in. Fold over the legs, breathe out. So feeling inner thigh, outer hip, and perhaps some low back left side. And slowly walk your hands to the upper right corner of your mat. Allow your hands to come back, shoulders stack over the hips. We'll slide that left heel into the right inner thigh, and then step that right foot either in front of the shin or over the knee. Right hand behind, left hand wraps around the knee, chest lifts. Ring out and twist. Think about your left rib cage hugging into that inner right knee. And slowly back through center. Hands are going to come back. You're going to take the soles of the feet to the earth, and you'll take your right ankle over your left knee. So making this figure 4 shape. Turn your fingertips to face the wall behind you so they turn backward. Lift up through your chest and send your chest toward your shin. So that may be plenty for you, and you may not be that close, but wherever you feel action through the outer hip is right where you need to be. If you need more action through the hip, the left heel steps in more and you use the chest to the shin to create more sensation. Don't forget to breathe deeply. Now from here, you can stay where you are if you want a little bit more. You're going to lean into your left hand. Take your right hand into the arch of the foot. Lift your chest up and begin to twist. You're using some pressure, foot to hand, hand to foot, to find a little bit deeper sensation in the hip. And slowly draw back through center. Take the soles of the feet down. Windshield wiper your knees from side to side. And as you come back to neutral, your left ankle will now cross over your right knee. Now, we tend to be passive or a little bit floppy with the foot. Try and activate the foot, flexing it and peeling the pinky toe edge back toward the outer knee. From there, lift your chest. Now, you'll notice in the summertime, you may be practicing in AC, and that's fine. But you'll notice as your body gets warmer after a few breaths, you might be able to come even deeper. But don't push it. Be really mindful of what you're feeling. And let your right hand come back as you take the left hand into the arch of the foot. Lift your chest and twist. Pushing foot to hand, hand to foot. And slowly come back through center. Take the soles of the feet down. Again, windshield wiper those knees from side to side. And we're going to step the feet a little bit wider than the hips. Take your hands to your shins. Lift your chest as you breathe in. Round your spine as you breathe out. Should feel really good through the low back. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, round and rinse. And last time we lift and open. And as you round, you'll roll all the way back, taking the knees in just as we did to start the class. And again, find those circles with the knees, 3 times in each direction. Slowly let the soles of the feet come to the earth. You're going to take your right leg up, interlace either behind the knee, the shin, or the ankle, and flex the toes back toward your face. So you should feel your hamstring here. Now, if it's comfortable on your body, your left leg can release down. And if you have a yoga strap, you can always loop it around the ball of the foot and then just hold on to the sides of the strap. A necktie, a belt, a jump rope, any of those things, a towel, those will work as well. It doesn't have to be fancy. But again, let every exhale allow you to come just a bit deeper, or perhaps let the exhales just relax the shoulders or the skin of the face. From here, allow your right hand to release out to the side. Keep your left hand attached to your leg or your foot or your strap and come all the way across the body. So your legs are making now the letter L. And what wants to happen here is your foot wants to get floppy again. Keep that foot flexed. You're going to feel a lot of sensation through the outer back of that right leg and maybe even the low back. Slowly draw through center. Take the sole of the right foot down. Lift your left leg up. Interlace behind any portion of the leg that feels right, or loop a strap around the ball of the foot. Keeping those toes flexed back. And again, allow the inhale to let you notice sensation. Allow the exhale to let you soften around that sensation. Our bodies hold on to tension in the weirdest places, so notice and release. Right leg can extend if you would like. You're going to keep your right hand attached to the leg or the strap. Let your left arm come out for counterbalance and cross over your body. Coming into this twist, L shape with the feet, keeping that left foot flexed. My daughter was a competitive dancer for 7 years. She was extremely flexible, and now she's doing an extreme amount of running. Not so flexible anymore. Good thing she's got a yoga teacher in her back pocket. Let's come all the way up through center, soles of both feet to the floor. Hands come beside you. Walk those heels in to the point where you might almost be able to touch your heels with your middle finger. We're going to take rolling bridges. So as the hips lift, the arms will lift back and overhead. And you'll exhale, everything rolls down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Draw the knees in and then send the feet up. So this is my favorite final pose before Shavasana because it really allows the blood to reverse in flow as we've been upright all day. They do say this pose taken for 5 to 10 minutes every day helps with a lot of internal organ efficiency. It helps with sleep. It helps with general stress level. So allow the weight of the legs to drop into your hips. And allow the rest of your body to surrender deeply into the earth. Slowly, and as you're ready, allow your legs to extend down the mat. Taking any props or any cover, maybe you need a blanket if you're in air conditioning, to find a comfortable Shavasana and be still and quiet through body and mind. As your body comes to stillness, just as we did at the beginning, take a moment to notice the weight of the head and the weight of the shoulders, the arms, the weight of the hips and the legs all the way down to the heels. And then take your attention to the center of your belly. At the center of your belly, imagine a bright orange-white light. So orange on the outside, but as you get closer to the center of that light, it becomes white, whitish yellow, hot. And imagine that you, connected to the earth, can actually make that light stronger and brighter as you breathe in. Much like the center of the earth, this powerful, hot, not eruptive force, but a powerful force. Let's just leave it at that. So bring it in as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, imagine any smoke or ash around that heat just releases. Building and drawing power inward from center of the earth through the center of your belly. Exhaling any ash, any dust, any smoke. Knowing that the key to power, the key to security, is this fine balance of this fiery center. If it gets too hot, it's no good. If it gets too cool, it's no good. So let's draw on the power and remain balanced. Inhaling, the light expands. Exhaling, any waste disperses and releases out. And if the mind wanders, simply guide it back to that imagery, drawing power right from the hot center of the earth where we find power and balance, bringing it into your body, releasing out anything that no longer serves that power. Slowly begin to bring your body back to awareness through deep breaths. Allowing the breath to bring gentle movements into fingers and toes. Maybe circling ankles and wrists. Stretching in any way that feels comfortable as you eventually roll into a ball and then over to one side. So the knees pull in and you land in the fetal position. Finding 2 breaths here as you come back from darkness to light. And slowly rise to a comfortable seated position, allowing the eyes to remain closed. And taking a moment as you arrive, to simply scan the body and notice any physical or energetic changes you might feel. And as we close tonight, I'll share a quote from, again, Meditations from the Mat is a wonderful book by Rolf Gates. He quotes the Yoga Sutras when he says, "When non-violence in speech, thought, and action is established, one's aggressive nature is relinquished, and others abandon hostility in one's presence." This concept is the concept of non-harming, or ahimsa in the Yoga Sutras. And he goes on to say, "A friend of mine told me of a guru from Sri Lanka who was asked, 'What will be the undoing of humanity?' The guru answered, 'The separation between you and me.' The concept of non-harm or ahimsa asks us to abandon the notion of separation and become one. And how fitting in these times of a divided nation and divided communities that we allow ourselves to have nonviolence in speech, thought, and action. And on that reflection, I invite you to allow the arms to rise, drawing the hands down through center chest. I'll seal our time together with a single round of Om, inhaling. Om. Surrendering the head to the heart as you swallow in the back of your throat. Raising your thumb knuckles to center forehead. All that is light and love and powerful in me honors and shines to all that is light and love and powerful in each of you. Thank you so much for attending tonight. Namaste.